Balance sheet reconciliations are one of the first responsibilities new accountants are trusted with, and one of the fastest ways to prove you understand the business. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how to prepare balance sheet reconciliations step by step, even if you've never done one before. This video is about a relatively easy reconciliation for an accounts receivable account where a system subledger report exists. This is a great way to understand the process and get you ready for more challenging reconciliations in later videos. Balance sheet reconciliations are a core month close responsibility because they prove that assets and liabilities exist, are valued correctly, and belong in the period reported. For instance, the balance sheet reconciliation for accounts receivable tells us the names of the customers who owe the company money, when they purchase goods or services, and how old the outstanding balance is. Accountants typically prepare balance sheet reconciliations with the material impact before the financial statements are issued, leaving the less impactful reconciliations for later in the month. Keep in mind that reconciliations are an important internal control because they demonstrate checks and balances, and that is why auditors rely heavily on them during audits. And strong reconciliations reduce audit findings, rework, and uncomfortable questions later. A good reconciliation answers the question, why does this account have this balance at month end? And if someone else can understand your reconciliation 6 months later without calling you, that's a good reconciliation. In large companies, balance sheet reconciliation software is commonly used to automate many routine reconciliations. These tools compare general ledger balances to subledger data, identify differences, and manage reviews and approvals. However, even with automation, accountants still need to apply judgment, especially for unusual transactions, estimates, or complex accounts. Please keep in mind, a system may be able to prepare a reconciliation, but it cannot critically evaluate it. Someone has to look at it and be able to answer the question, does it make sense? For instance, an accounts receivable reconciliation that shows old outstanding invoices for a customer who still continues to receive merchandise. That doesn't make any sense. Why would the company continue to do that? So either someone needs to place the customer on credit hold, or perhaps payments have not been applied correctly. So reconciliation is not just math, and it's not just preparing and attaching a report. It's about analyzing accounts critically and determining if they're stated accurately. Smaller companies often rely on manually prepared reconciliations using spreadsheets, which is why learning the manual process is such an important foundation. Once you understand how reconciliations work at a fundamental level, it becomes much easier to use and evaluate automated tools. The process for reconciling balance sheet accounts consists of 4 steps. The first step is to obtain accounting reports from your accounting system, the general ledger, account detail, the trial balance, the subledger report, and the prior month balance sheet reconciliation. In a later video, I'll continue with examples of when the subledger report is not available and you have to create the subledger report on your own by ticking and tying the debits and credits in the GL account. The second step is the process of reconciling the general ledger to the subledger, answering the question, why does this account have this balance at month end? The third step is preparing the account reconciliation, which includes the cover page, the GL detail, and the subledger in your preferred spreadsheet program. Then in step 4, you're reviewing the reconciliation one more time, evaluating it critically, and signing off on it. Many companies have a thorough review process because, after all, you're proving out that the balance sheet is stated correctly. That is why reviewers will also review and sign off on the reconciliation. That level of sign-off can depend on how material the account is to the overall financial statements. Your company should have an account reconciliation tracker, an important internal control to demonstrate to auditors that all reconciliations are prepared and signed off on. So after you've prepared and signed off on the reconciliation, you would also sign off on the account reconciliation tracker that you've completed the reconciliation. The reviewers will do the same once they complete their review and approval. In some instances, additional checklists like the internal control or SOX control checklist may need to be signed off on as well. The larger the company, the more complex the procedures. Now that we talked about the high-level process, let's talk about a specific example, which is the accounts receivable account for this company called Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. The first report that we need is the General Ledger Detail Report, which you'd obtain from your company's accounting system. Ask someone on your team for the query or report you have to run to get the General Ledger Report for this account if you're not sure where to find it. The GL report should show the balance at the beginning of the month, activity for the month, which could be just a few debits or credits, but can also include hundreds or even thousands of transactions, and the ending balance. For Craig's Design and Landscaping Services, the accounts receivable general ledger account shows a beginning balance of $618, debits of $2,207.80, and credits of $651.80. And the ending balance is $2,174. It's relatively easy to run a report for the wrong time period, account, or legal entity, so we double check the balance from our general ledger report against the trial balance report for the accounts receivable account. This is the trial balance report for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services as of August 31st. It also shows $2,174 for the accounts receivable AR account. So now we can feel pretty good about having the right general ledger report because that report has the same ending balance that we see here on the trial balance report. And we can now move on to getting the rest of our reports that are needed to prepare the account reconciliation for the accounts receivable AR account. Next, we need the subledger report, which is a system report that keeps track of all the debits and credits in an account, ticks and ties them against each other, for instance, a customer payment to a customer invoice, and then prepares a report that shows what debits or credits are still open. Most systems have accounts receivable and accounts payable subledger reports. And this is the subledger report for the accounts receivable account called the AR Aging Summary for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. It's called an aging report because it lists all unpaid customer invoices by age, meaning the number of days past the due date of the invoice. This AR aging report shows that a total of $2,174 is due from customers and $618 are between 1 and 30 days past due the due date of the invoice. You can customize the aging report that it shows you different aging categories that you see on this report, for instance, in 15-day increments, or you can add additional fields to it, such as invoice date and invoice number. This report is then used by the accountant to reach out to the customers to find out why an invoice has not yet been paid. Some accountants even proactively reach out to the customer before the due date to confirm that the customer has all necessary invoice information to pay the invoice by the due date. In addition to collecting on past due customer invoices, the accountant should also communicate internally that a customer is past due, so that no additional goods or services are provided until the customer pays the past due invoices. For instance, in our example, I'd probably want to know that Freeman Sporting Goods is sending a payment for $387 before processing any further orders from this customer. Ideally, you would also have the prior month balance sheet reconciliation for the balance sheet account that you're reconciling. Typically, the accounting team maintains a separate folder that contains the balance sheet reconciliations for each month. And this is what the prior balance sheet account reconciliation for the accounts receivable account looks like for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. The reconciliation consists of a cover page that shows at the top the header information, such as the title, account name, and the date, followed by the sign-off by the preparer and reviewers. Next is the account purpose. For this account, it states the accounts receivable account captures all the trade receivables that the company billed, offset by all customer payments for these trade receivables. The balance in this account represents the outstanding unpaid trade receivables. Any required reserve for each receivables is recorded in the allowance for bad debt account. Next, we can see the general ledger balance of $618. Next to it, we see the reference to tab A, which means that tab A of the workbook has the details for the general ledger. Tab A shows us the general ledger detail activity, including the ending balance of $618. We can see that this must be a new company because there is no beginning balance, and the ending balance consists of the 3 debits to this account. The next line on the cover page is for the subledger detail. The subledger in this case is the system report for the accounts receivable account. So that makes this recon pretty easy because the accounting system provides you with the subledger report you need. Ideally, the AR aging report should agree with the GL balance of $618, which you can see it does on tab B of the recon work. There are situations when the AR aging does not agree with the GL balance. Typically, it means that someone posted a journal entry to the AR GL account, but did not tag a customer account. Most accounting systems do not allow such journal entries, but some do. So if that's the case for your accounts receivable account that your GL balance does not equal the AR aging, you'll have to look through the GL to find the variance. That brings us to step 2 of the 4-step process, which is reconcile the account. That means that you compare the ending balance from the GL detail report to the grand total of the AR aging subledger report. In our example, the GL report for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services shows an ending balance of $2,174 as of August 31st. The AR subledger report shows a total of $2,174 as of August 31st. So both reports agree, and that provides us with a certain comfort level that the accounts receivable amount of $2,174 on the balance sheet is supported by evidence. And if someone asks you, what does the balance in this account consist of? You can say the balance of $2,174 consists of current receivables of $1,556, as well as past due receivables for Freeman Sporting Goods of $387, Cookies by Kathy of $75, and Red Rock Diner of $156 for a total of $618 past due receivables. Step 3 now consists of preparing the reconciliation by updating the cover page for the date in the header, the general ledger balance, and the subledger balance. Tab A is updated by copying and pasting the general ledger detail, and Tab B is updated for the new AR aging summary report for August. Be sure to double check that there is no difference between the GL and the subledger. Enter any notes as applicable. For instance, you could note that the Freeman customer account has been placed on hold and no further orders will be processed until payment is received. Final step is to look over the details of the reconciliation one more time. Evaluate it critically and ensure that it contains all needed information. I recommend that you have a reconciliation checklist and double check that you've done everything before signing off on it at the top of the reconciliation page. As I mentioned, add any notes that will help the reviewer to understand the reconciliation. Especially if you've done any research on any of the items in your reconciliation or any follow-up, don't keep it to yourself. Add that information in the notes section. Both the preparer and the reviewers need to sign off. The number of reviewers depends on your sign-off policy. It is not uncommon for complex and very material accounts to be signed off by multiple reviewers or for the accounting team to even update other teams about the reconciliation, especially if the account involves complicated estimates, calculations, and assumptions. Many companies also have internal and SOX control checklists that need to be updated in addition to updating the balance sheet reconciliation tracker. I have a separate video about the importance of the balance sheet reconciliation tracker and why it is crucial to maintain one for a successful month close. If you're early in your accounting career, mastering reconciliations will make everything else easier. Month-end close, audits, and even financial analysis. Once you understand why balances are what they are, accounting stops feeling mechanical and starts making sense.